I'm super excited to talk to you guys about Lisa Frankenstein.
So excited! So excited!
It didn't come all together by the end, but it had a bunch of interesting ideas that shocked me and made me really enjoy my time with this film overall. In this review, I'm going to give you 2 reasons why I think this film is worth your time and some flaws why it may not be. Let's attack it. It's weird, it's horny, and it's awkwardly funny.
Jim Halpert. I'm so horny.
The premise is about a high school outcast named Lisa Swallows. That last name is hilarious. Played by the phenomenal Kathryn Newton. She did a great job bringing life to this character, starting out as this sheepish outcast that doesn't want to hang out at parties, want to stay in her room, doesn't really want to talk to anybody, doesn't really talk throughout the beginning of the film at all because it's a trauma that she went through her life that she hasn't gotten over while everyone's trying to move on. And as she starts to blossom throughout the film, become more charismatic, she really was easy to fall in love with. And right across from her is this corpse that she starts falling in love with and creating a bond, a reanimated corpse played by Sprouse. And he did a fantastic job despite barely having any lines at all. A lot of his performance is due to his body language. His facial expressions were great and comedic, and just how he used his body to express how he has to feel because he literally didn't have a tongue to talk to Lisa. Their dynamic really carries the film and are the best parts of the movie. And these two go on a murder spree and while falling in love with each other, and it doesn't get any weirder than that. This movie is described as a coming of age story, and it has a lot of sprinkles of things like Jennifer's Body, which this movie is also written by the same writer as that movie, and you can see all the elements that made that movie a cult classic in this one as well. And you can see some inspirations from obviously 80s and 90s films, Tim Burton and the Heathers all mixed in here that I think will be something that makes it like a new cult classic for a lot of people who watch this movie. Quotables for days: iconic clothing that I can see people dressing up at Halloween this year to dress like Lisa in many parts of this film. And an iconic duo that reminds me like Edward Scissorhands, the Johnny Depp film, where it has similar vibes to that film. Something like Life After Beth, like I said, Jennifer's Body, and movies like that are like quirky and fun and deals in a horror realm, but is more leaning on the comedy. This movie is not scary. It's just the things that they're doing is horrific. And I think people who love that 80s aesthetic, late 80s, early 90s aesthetic will eat this movie up. Unfortunately, not every joke, not every moment, not every line lands like the movie intends to do, but there's a lot of laugh out moments in the film throughout. And there's a reason why not every moment in the film lands, and that's because we're watching a new director discover themselves on film. And that's some of the best parts that, you know, as a movie lover and a person that loves the behind the scene aspects of film, was really interesting to watch. Zelda Williams, who is Robin Williams' daughter, rest in peace to that great man, is her directorial debut, and I think she does a bright future as a director. She does a lot of great things with the camera, the way she sets up the scenes and the way she moves the camera when she's doing certain trippy moments or certain moments where this is a PG-13 film and they have like very R-rated horny moments and violent moments that they cut away, but do it in a perfect way that you don't feel cheapskated. A lot of PG-13 horror films, they'll cut away and you just don't see anything, you'll just hear the scream, but they find different ways like shadows or just not direct showing of what's going on in order for you to get the feeling. And it's kind of fun, and I'm glad that they did that so young kids can see this, because this is really fun for the whole family kind of. And while this movie does take from a lot of different ideas and movies and things that we've seen before, I think the fact that she played on the name Lisa Frankenstein, obviously this is play on the classic monster scientist story, but it's also a play on Lisa Frank, which is a brand that is, you know, shipped to like young girls. It's bright, it's colorful, it's for stickers and school supplies and things like that, and you can feel that throughout this film. It gives this a very neon 80s feel, and even though the movies doesn't feel exactly like it's in the 80s, doesn't nail that aspect like perfectly, it feels like a movie that could have been made in the 80s, if that makes sense.
We started real slow. And you know, that's all right. That's okay, because sometimes in life you're going to start slow. That's okay. We told ourselves, hey, we're going to start slow. We're going to keep going fast. We're going to start slow, but we're always going to finish fast. No matter what the score was, we're going to finish hard. We're going to finish fast. Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie.
And I think that's the process of this filmmaker here and the script writer. The film feels a little weird in the beginning, where it feels like they're trying to figure out what they want to do, and they're just trying things in the beginning and playing around with the camera, playing around with the story, playing around with the way the actors deliver lines, and that can kind of throw some people off. But then the second half of the film, I think everything starts to clicking. The direction, the score, the murder, the horniness, and the actors just all start clicking, and the movie becomes really, really fun. And even in the crowd that I was in watching this film, you could see them starting to laugh and get more into the film during the second half of the film. You could see that everybody started getting on board and what was supposed to be going on in the tone of this film, and you make you go, why was this not in the beginning? Well, that was because she was trying to figure out while she was filming the film at the same time. And while I found this movie to be very fascinating and charming, it's far from perfect. There's a lot of first director and things going on here that's going to turn off many. One is like a lack of score in a lot of scenes, makes the scenes feel empty and way too quiet. Feel like you hear sneakers squeaking. I think that the cast chemistry was great throughout, but some of the early on scenes maybe weren't edited away to bring the energy, or the cast took some time to get that chemistry in the beginning because the director was figuring it out, so it doesn't always super gel in every single scene in the beginning. And the editing, you know, I felt like with a film like this, you would think it would be a little bit more tighter and faster to bring that energy, and I think it gets there a little bit towards the end of the film, but throughout, some scenes just kind of feel like they either stand on a little too long or could have been edited in a way to bring a little bit more fun to the film. So these are some technical flaws that makes it not a great film, but a really good film that a lot of people can enjoy. Despite the flaws of this movie, I ended up loving it. I don't think it's a drag out, brawl out great film, but I think it's really, really good. Something I'm definitely gonna watch over when I get it on physical media or on streaming, because I think it's a lot of fun. And I think a lot of people who want something a little bit more original, something that also feels like how they used to make movies, where not everything had to be deep or have a super meaning or much of lore and explain everything that's going on. Back in the day, Jason got hit by a lightning bolt and he was alive, and we just accepted it. That's what happened. And that's the kind of the way the movie approaches things here. Things are happening, we're playing it out, we're having fun, and I had a lot of fun, and hopefully you'll have fun, and you got a lot of this review to realize that you want to go check it out. With that said, I'm going to give Lisa Frankenstein a C+. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate Lisa Frankenstein if you got to check it out? And if you did not get to check it out yet, based on my review, are you going to go to the theaters and check this out or wait for streaming? If you like my review, hit that like button. And if you are not part of the Zack Attack Nation yet, attack that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified of my reviews, reactions, live discussions, and much, much more. You can watch more of my content right now.